So now if Pujols gets a hit today, he will tie Roberto Clemente on the all-time list. 32 members of the 3,000 hit club. Boy, that's gotten to be. I remember getting my 40th anniversary of Baseball Digest, and they had the covers from the back issues, and they had the cover when Stan Musial joined the 3,000 hit club way back 1957, and the inscription was, "Only the eighth man to do it, Stan Musial." So, I guess since the era of California baseball, we've had 20, or Major League Baseball, not counting the attempt of the Pacific Coast League to become a major league in the 50s, we've had 24 members of the 3,000 hit club in, shall we say, the color TV era of baseball. Hello, I'm Marky Billson, your voice of choice for a new generation of Tri-City sports fans. Name of the program is Tri-City Sports Now. We own the Tri-Cities because I'm the most outspoken member of the Tri-Cities. Probably of the Tri-Cities, but just, we'll say sports media. B, I have the best guests in sports talk radio on this show, including Jake Wimberly of The Zone down in Jackson, Tennessee, or Jackson, Mississippi. Sorry, I'm in Tennessee, and so I know Jackson much, I guess they both have teams in the Southern League now, don't they, here, Jake? But he's watching right now, and I'd like to say hello to him. He's been a frequent guest on the show. And just the hardest hitting opinions out there. But today we're going to have a couple of great guests. 1 o'clock, I'm going to talk to Teresa Gennaro. And she's going to tell us who's going to win the Kentucky Derby. Teresa Gennaro has a website. It's called BrooklynBackstretch.com. You have to love that. She says she's searching for the vegan mascara. Now, that's a little different, but let's have a different culture here in the Tri-Cities. Who's going to win the Kentucky Derby tomorrow? I love talking to Teresa. We had her on last year. Really articulate, friendly, all that, and knows her horses. Anyway, I'll also be talking, we're going to talk a lot about racing here. Horse and stock car, because Jerry Bonkowski, NBCSports.com, is also slated to join us today. But with this, the day after Jason Witten retires, and I will be talking about some of the people who came up short in the bid to be the next Howard Cosell, or as the next Don Meredith, as Jason Witten, the former cowboy and Elizabethton native, greatest athlete I think ever to come from the Tri-Cities. I'd like to know what you think. Actually, watch down below on Marky Billson's Facebook page, where I rank the top 10 athletes in the history of the Tri-Cities. I think you'll find that. And yes, Witten comes number 1. 4th all-time in catches in the NFL. That's number 1 for me. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that. Or I will talk to you. I talk, you listen. But you know what? I could not come up with a decent topic for my monologue today. I couldn't do it. I was until... No, I mean, you say, well, what about Witten? But we've been talking about that. I've been through Jason Witten. There's nothing new I'm going to add to Jason Witten. I was thinking of doing the old, MJ versus LeBron, especially after LeBron James had a nice day yesterday. I was thinking, driving in, I was hearing yet the other, popular version of, the NL should adopt the designated hitter rule. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's go. We want to have games take less time in baseball. Let's have the rule that has slowed down the pace more than any other universal. Oh, I've changed my thinking on that. Well, then you've changed your thinking wrong. Let's stop baseball rape, okay? I could do something on that off the top of my head. But then I went to the mailbox and I got this, my Sports Illustrated magazine. You see, it has James Harden on the cover. It's talking about can the Houston Rockets knock off the Golden State Warriors for the NBA title? Now, I'm not a big NBA fan. I rarely talk about it on here. I just don't think East Tennessee is all that interested in it. Stock car racing, yes. When it comes time, sure. But I'd much rather be talking about something quasi-local like the Predators. See, they won last night, 2-1. Nice game. Hey, who are the idiots that want to bench Pekka Rinne? Stand up. We'd like to know who you are. But the thing here is, if you look at this cover, a week inside the space age, Rockets quest to transform Houston into the city of champions. Houston, now the city of champions. That's kind of interesting. Never been to a Super Bowl, just won their first ever World Series. Don't have an NHL team. I guess the Arrows with Rod Langway were good back in the 70s. The Avcoa, what would they call that? The Avoca Cup, AVCO Cup. Okay. But that thing, Houston, City of Champions, that got me started. Because I'd like to think that I'm an expert on the term, the City of Champions. And you know what? The Astros won the World Series last year, but that's just it. Last year. Don't the Astros and Rockets have to win both world titles in the same year for this to happen? Don't they have to? So unless the Astros repeat, which they could very well do, they just this week knocked off the Yankees' 9-game winning streak, for crying out loud. But I thought that Philadelphia was supposed to be the city of champions this year. Remember, the Eagles finally won the Super Bowl this year. Villanova Wildcats won the NCAA men's basketball tournament. And even if you wanted to make the argument the Eagles Super Bowl really belonged to the 2017 season, certainly the championship came closer together than what the Astros last year and the Rockets potentially this year could muster up together. Now, I will tell you why I am an expert in City of Champions. Because I am from the City of Champions. Because City of Champions is why I'm here. Because City of Champions is what made me a sports fan. City of Champions is usually bestowed on a city when two teams win titles in the same year. And when I was but an 8-year-old boy in 1979, my mother moved me to Pittsburgh, a charming row house in the Point Breeze neighborhood on Gettysburg Street. You can actually do a Google search. I wrote all about it. It was a very well-received article in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. But I didn't know anything about sports before then. But it was 1979. Steelers win the Super Bowl. Pirates win the World Series. Or should I say, Pirates win the World Series sandwiched between two Steelers Super Bowl championships and hooked for life. Absolutely hooked for life. During the Pirates World Series celebration, those 39 years ago, my boyhood idol, Willie Stargell, declared, "We are from a city that is nothing but champions," and the City of Champions moniker stuck for Pittsburgh, though it did go out of favor the following decade when all the teams started to lose. But I remember for my 9th birthday a t-shirt with a baseball and a football that had been, I'm going to show you, they had been made into human form, and it said Pittsburgh City of Champs, and they were running out of a triangle. Still have that t-shirt somewhere, perhaps in storage. But I loved, that stuck, and it did mean something to the people that lived there. But then what hurt is that the next year over in Philly, as we're talking about ancient history, the Philadelphia 76ers, Eagles, and Flyers all played for the championship of their respective leagues. And then the Phillies won their first ever World Series, so Philly stole the title of City of Champions from Pittsburgh. In fact, if you ever watch the old movie Witness with Harrison Ford, that was shot in, I want to say 1983, but early 80s. It clearly shows a foam hand with the inscription in the background of John Book's apartment. The inscription reads on this foam hand, actually it's John Book's sister's apartment, let me get it right. But one of those number 1 foam hands actually reads, Philadelphia, City of Champions. Really? Well, maybe this year. So maybe I should be a little more receptive of Houston taking that title away from Philly this year. I don't know, since, still sore over that attempted theft from Pittsburgh of the moniker. But now Los Angeles is trying to steal that title. The Los Angeles Rams and Chargers football stadium, set to open next year, is tentatively called City of Champions Stadium. Last world title an LA team won was the Kings Stanley Cup in 2014. But the Chargers just moved to Los Angeles. They've only won one league title in their entire history. That was back in San Diego, 1963. American Football League champions. They beat the Boston Patriots and Jim Nantz. The Rams last won an NFL title in Los Angeles in 1951. Something's not right about calling the Rams and Chargers' new stadium City of Champions Stadium. I'm sorry. Now, the first city to actually call themselves City of Champions, you know what it was? Cleveland. That's right, Cleveland. Way back in 1948. The Indians had won the World Series. Browns had won their third straight All-American Football Conference championship. Yes, the All-American Football Conference. It's also where the 49ers came from, as a matter of fact. Those three AAFC titles with Otto Graham, Marianne Motley and company came right before the Cleveland Rams. Yeah, that's where the Rams franchise started. Won the NFL title in 1945. I think they beat Sammy Baugh. The first city to have both World Series and NFL championships same year was New York City. Yankees, Bronx Bombers, they won the 27 World Series. The Giants won the Pro Football Championship and then fledgling National Football League. Now, over the years, many cities have enjoyed 2 championships in a season. Detroit, for instance, 52. Red Wings win the Stanley Cup. Lions win the NFL title. What do you think about that? Yeah, Bobby Lane. There you go. I think it's kind of, New York, 1969. The Jets with Joe Namath, Super Bowl III, 68 season, but the Super Bowl played in 69. The Mets, the amazing Mets of Seaver and Koosman and Tommy Agee and Gil Hodges and all those guys. Nolan Ryan's only world championship. Yeah, that was also won in 69, the amazing Mets. The next year, Baltimore Orioles win the World Series. They were denied in 69. And in the 1970 season, the Colts, the old Baltimore Colts, they beat the Cowboys in Super Bowl V, although technically Jim O'Brien's last-second kick to give the Colts their 16-13 victory occurred on January 17th, 1971. But I'm counting that. It's the 70 season. Come on. 70 season baseball, 70 season in football. I mean, that has, football, maybe that is something of a bridge when you're looking at City of Champions, that sort of thing. Now, in this century, it has seemed like a year cannot go by without a Boston team winning a world title. 2014, the Red Sox ended their 86-year drought of world championships. They swept the Cardinals after coming back from 3-0 against the Yankees in the League Championship Series, and the Patriots won the Super Bowl. It was actually their third. I guess what do you want to say? Actually, I guess the Patriots, I'm trying to think here. The Patriots won the Super Bowl in 2013 and 2004, those seasons. I guess technically 2004 and 2005. So one way or the other, the world title of the Red Sox sandwiched around 2 Patriots world titles. Only thing is that Patriots don't officially play in Boston. They play in Foxborough, which is actually, I believe, a little bit closer to Providence. Yeah, I'm not going to try to make the argument that Providence is I know the Patriots historically flew out of Providence when they made their road trips. Are the Patriots really a Providence team? There, I'll throw that out for you right there, okay? But no. If anyone is representing Boston in the NFL, it's the Patriots. So, And, in 2009, both the Steelers and Penguins won world titles. And the Penguins are gunning for their third straight Stanley Cup. So can Pittsburgh reclaim the City of Champions moniker these days from the likes of Boston, from the likes of Philadelphia, or maybe newcomer, although I really don't think they deserve it, Houston. The Rockets have to win it to even be put into the discussion. So now locally, is Western North Carolina local for you? Our signal gets into Western North Carolina. 2 years after living in Pittsburgh, you know where I moved to? Little River, North Carolina. That you're not going to find that on a map. Look for Pisgah Forest, North Carolina. That's what the post office, that's what the mailing address said. You're probably not going to find Pisgah Forest on a map either. Look for Brevard. We were 10 miles out of Brevard. My grandparents had built a retirement home, this sort of thing. Okay, But there, I lived in Transylvania County, North Carolina. How's that, okay? And North Carolina, Michael Jordan, 1981, 1981-82, defending national champion in basketball. Clemson, just over the border, defending national champion in football. And NC State, they were the national champion the next year. They succeeded the Tar Heels. And those were all the quasi-home teams. But you know what? None of them really played in Transylvania County, now did they? So what about 1998 if we're looking at local? Can we call it Knoxville local? I mean, our signal does get into Western North Carolina here, but, 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities. Doesn't quite get to Knoxville, but maybe you're watching on Facebook. And certainly a lot of Tennessee fans around here. And in 1998, the Lady Vols win the women's national championship in basketball, an undefeated record, thrashing Old Dominion. The Vols also win the national championship in football. Technically, I guess, that 23-16 victory against Florida State occurred in the first few days of 1999. Who cares? Who cares? Yeah. Both in 98. Maybe not the same, graduation class, but hey, 2 titles in Knoxville, City of Champions 1998, right? That got me thinking here. Vols haven't won a national championship in football since then, have they? And the Indians haven't won a World Series in 70 years since Cleveland was the City of Champs, right? Nor have the Pirates even been to the World Series since the We Are Family 1979 Pirates really made the term City of Champions and put it into the public discourse. I hate to say this. I really don't like to say this. Could City of Champions be a curse? No, it's just a target. One way or the other, it's a blessing. It just may have repercussions. City of Champions jinx? You're talking about, I'm the expert on City of Champions. That can't happen. No. We can't have that. No. I wouldn't mind it if some of those teams that I mentioned, though, didn't win. I'd like others to win. I'm the objective sports talk show host. Hey, who could have been the color commentator of Monday Night Football instead of Jason Witten? I'll be talking about that when Tri-City Sports Now comes back.
City Streets, Firestone Destination Tire.
Yes, I know. Some do say the luckiest title in college football history, yes. And yes, the backup quarterback was there for Florida State, I know. Did I meet Vlad Dracula? I don't get that. Texans ain't claiming a title anytime soon. I don't know, pass rush. Deshaun Watson, I think they could be good. Boston claims the Patriots. I get that. Yes. Anyway, SoCon John Hooper, by the way, I will be coming back. If you, I was meaning to get in touch with you about a guest spot there. So, yes, Transylvania County, North Carolina. Look it up. Yes, I like Vlad Dracula. I get it. Okay, yes. Anyway. We made the same jokes as well. Trust me. Anyway, through the woods. But anyway, we'll be back here in just a minute.